Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Fanie Naude here, and welcome to another one of our long form videos. Today we are going to talk about how to craft and deliver your message to your niche. So we are specifically going to answer those questions of, how to get extra ideal clients on board, how to make those prospects interested in working with you, how to really inspire action when talking to someone that they really want to work with you. At the end of the day, we don't want those bad clients that make that grudge purchase to work with you. We want your ideal clients, the people that really want to work with you, build that relationship, that you can help each other grow your businesses. So this is exactly what we're going to cover today on how to craft and deliver your message to your niche. Just a quick reminder, everything that we are going to cover in today's video, we are going to give in a PDF at the end. We're going to cover a lot of examples in today's video. So everything is going to be in that PDF. It's going to be available for free for download. All that you need to do is just watch until the end to get the details. So let us jump right into today's video on how to craft and deliver your message to your niche. So if we're going to have a look, we're going to start with how and why marketing works. So the previous video, we discussed a lot about the foundations of marketing, and we went into depth about this system, how to go from your current situation to your desired situation. And that's the whole customer journey of what you need to be communicating to them. So if you do not know the problems, pains, and challenges of your niche, and you don't know the wants, needs, and desires, you will never accomplish anything with marketing, because this is the message. Today we're going to deconstruct and show you exactly how you can show them their current situation and the desired situation and put yourself as the bridge between both of those. So the first thing that you need to understand is that how the brain works, because most people don't really understand why marketing works and why people pay attention to certain things and not other things. Now, this all revolves around how we went through evolution and how our minds developed, because there's two main functions of our brain. That is survive and thrive and conserve calories, or optimize the calories spent. Meaning that the first thing that you want to be thinking about is survive and thrive. Now, this is obviously the most important thing, because if you don't survive and thrive, you're not going to survive, meaning it doesn't really matter what exactly comes after that, because you're not going to survive. So that's the first thing, and we like to break this down with Maslow's hierarchy, and most of you have studied this, most of you have come across this, but it's just basically his hierarchy depends on two stages. The first one is survive and thrive, and the other one is more about, what exactly your brain wants to do. The conserve calories, meaning he wants to optimize the calories spent to do certain things he actually wants to do. So if you think about survive and thrive, that's your normal things, your physical needs, your eating everything, and basically your shelter, your safety, all of that, sense of community that everybody can protect each other. That is all survive and thrive. So let's say, for example, you bring this back to marketing. Okay, if you are talking to someone and it doesn't pertain to something of survive and thrive at that very moment, he's not probably going to pay attention to you, because then it goes into the next phase of, optimizing calories, meaning is what this person is telling me right now really worth it? Should I actually pay attention to him? Should I listen to what exactly he is telling me at the moment, or is it extremely boring? So let me give you an example. You're at a networking event or at a cocktail party, and someone asks you, what do you do for a living? And you're like, well, I'm an accountant. So that's just so, what should that person do with that information? He's thinking about, how can I keep this conversation alive? This is getting awkward. The guy just said he's an accountant. He's not expanding on anything. So should I really be listening to him? Now the next one is, that's just bland, very rude, just I'm an accountant. It's not inspiring any sort of conversation. The guy's probably going to ask, well, where did you study? Or, what are you doing? Or he doesn't really know how to go forward with that conversation. Now, if the guy's asking you, what do you do for a living? And you start rambling off like, 50 years back, my grandfather started the business, and he's built it up from the ground up, and he really built this whole business about this, and the person is already thinking about, oh, is there something to eat at this party? He's really thinking about, oh man, this is getting so boring. I really don't care about your family history. Because it doesn't portray to something along those lines. Survive and thrive and conserving calories. If there's food at that party, that person's immediately going to think about the food. Natural instinct, because he's going to think like, this is so boring right now when I'm talking to you. I would rather go and just eat something. Like that's what's going through that person's brain, because you didn't trigger one of these two responses. You didn't trigger survive and thrive, or, basically something that could help that person to thrive. So let's say, for example, I ask you, what do you do? And you tell them something a little bit different. So let's, for example, say I'm that person at that networking event, and I tell them, well, you know how most accountants struggle with marketing and sales, and they end up taking on bad clients that make their life miserable? Well, we specialize in helping accountants to get a consistent stream of their ideal clients while reducing their workload and increasing their profits. You immediately see that different effect from telling your history or just saying you're an accountant to bringing it into a story, telling a little bit more about the story of what exactly this is. Because in that single story, I went through all of this. I immediately said what was your current situation, I said what was your desired situation, and I put myself as the bridge. Because I identified you and your problem, meaning you're an accountant and you're struggling with marketing and sales, you have bad clients that make your life miserable. That's your current situation. That's your problems, pains, and challenges at this very moment. Then I went one step further and I said, okay, well, we specialize in accountants. I put myself as the bridge. And I say, well, to get them a consistent stream of their ideal clients, wants and needs, while reducing workload. There's a lot of overworked accountants out there, very much a desire. And also, increasing profitability. A lot of accountants struggle with profit, so another want or a need. That is how simple this system is. Now, in the previous one, we went into depth about exactly how to do this research. You need to go and watch this. If this doesn't make sense to you, you need to go watch that first video. But that is exactly what we're going to teach you today, how to construct that message for yourself and your practice, that when you speak to somebody or when you do some marketing, it immediately triggers, boom, the guy's like, oh, I want to work with this person. Yes, that's the sort of person I want to work with. That's like, oh, I want so much more information about this. This is intriguing me so much at the moment. That is exactly what we're going to do today. So let us talk a little bit more about the art of storytelling and positioning. So to understand this entire system and how to really put everything nice, neatly wrapped into that message, you need to understand the story. You need to understand how people tell stories to each other. Because at the end of the day, that's the most fundamental thing that your brain is going to understand. Because we need to learn from other humans. We need to learn from other people to survive and thrive. And how we did that through millennia is through stories. Your ancestors told stories about how to survive and thrive, how to not make these mistakes anymore, or how to do better than the rest of those other people, or how to protect yourself. It's always done through stories. All human evolution was stories. Most of it was verbal, so everybody just told the story, so you have a natural inclination to understand stories. Now, any good story has 4 characters. It has the hero, the villain, the victim, and the guide. Now, this is so simple. Any story has these. If you think about The Hobbit, you think about any sort of story, that what's happening. You have a hero, you have someone that's a victim that was wronged by the villain, and the hero needs to solve the day. He cannot do it on his own. So what happens is he meets a guide. Okay, the guide helps him through the story. So this is the story structure. Story structure is a character, normally the hero, and he has a problem. He meets a guide who gives him a plan and calls them to action and helps them avoid failure or helps them to reach success. Now, this is the whole idea, is that story structure is the story structure for almost every single movie out there. Every single one of these works like that. I want to get the girl. I want to slay the dragon. I want to protect the town. I want to go and fight the bandits. All of those stories is everything about, okay, these 4 characters, because there's always someone in that. Now I'm asking you, who do you want to be in that story? Do you want to be the hero, The villain, the victim, or the guide? Well, if you want to be the villain or the victim, this is not a video for you. We don't deal with villains. We don't admire victims, because victims tend to just complain and think that everything is against them and the whole world is against them. You need to stand up for yourself, take responsibility for everything, and start working hard. That's not what we're dealing with here, the villain and the victim. So what do you want to be? And everybody's like, I want to be the hero. I want to be the hero in the story. You're thinking about, okay, if you want to be the hero, that means every single other person out there also wants to be the hero. So if you're in a story situation and you're getting to someone else and you're asking him for help, you're thinking about, okay, I'm the hero, so what do I need? I need a guide. I need someone to guide me on my journey. And you're coming to other one and that person's like, okay, I can solve all your problems for you. Just leave it over to me. I am the person. You're like, oh, well, you're clearly a hero. You do everything on your own. So you must be in a different story, because I'm a hero and you're a hero. So there cannot be two heroes in a story except if it's a collective. So that means that I don't need to work with you. You're in your own story. I need a guide. I need someone that can help me achieve my goals. Not to achieve everything for me and give everything for me, because this is about my business, my life, my journey. So I'm the hero. So you, as an accountant practice owner or as a business owner, you need to be the guide. You need to be the guide, because the person coming to you feels that he's a hero. So if you can guide him on the right path and help him there, he's going to immediately think, yes, I want this person. He's going to help me on my path. And that's what you want to be at the end of the day. You don't want to be the hero. Don't situate yourself as the hero, but situate yourself as the guide. And this is specifically for service-based businesses. It's so much easier to communicate that as being a guide, as being the hero. So let us go step by step through this, through the story structure, and tell you a little bit more. So first of all, the character. Okay, so every single movie or every single story revolves around the question, okay, what do they want and will they get it? That is the question about the hero. So if you're thinking about some Liam Neeson movie, well, what is his daughter? His daughter is captured. Will he get his daughter back? That's the thing. That's the entire plot. It's about he has a problem. His daughter is captured. He has a desire and he has a want and need about saving his daughter. And the whole question about this is, will he get there? If I'm telling you about, okay, well, there's this movie about a kid. He goes to school every day and he does his homework every day, and immediately you're lost. You're thinking about, why do I need to go and watch this movie? It's not appealing to me. It's not something I actually want to know. It's about, okay, there should be a problem. Okay, so that's the next thing. He has a problem. The villain should be real, relatable, and singular. So this is not necessarily a person. So if you're doing a business situation, you're thinking about, well, the villain could be outdated and ineffective processes. It could be the management system. It could be the business model that could be that villain, because they're not making money, or they're struggling, or the people are wasting so much time in the business. That could be the villain. It's not necessarily a person. So if you're thinking about business, it's usually systems and processes that ends up being the villain that you need to overcome. Now, this should be real, relatable, and singular, meaning that you should not be fear-mongering about some villain or some future villain or something that's not real. If you're talking about a villain that nobody knows what you're talking about, that's not real and it's not relatable, meaning they don't care. If you're talking about some story about someone else that's, some other problem. Let's say, for example, you're talking to accountants like me. I'm talking to accountants. I'm telling you all the 10 problems of dentists. No, that's not relatable. It might be real, but it's not relatable. So the whole idea here is to make the problems about them. That comes back to this: problems, pains, and challenges of your specific niche. That problem can be real, relatable, and singular, meaning the singular part means that it should be something specific. If you're listing off 10 different problems, it's so confusing. Now, as soon as you confuse your customer, he's not going to buy. So you need to be addressing something specific, some major problem in his life or in his business that you're going to help him solve. This should not be 15 problems. That's the whole problem with saying, I do 20 services, and you list every single service. Then everybody's looking at your services like, do I really need all of these? Do I really want all of these services? I don't even know what problems they solve. So that's the thing, they're like, okay, well, that's not what you want. So remember, real, relatable, singular. Then what happens? He gets the problem. Sometimes in the movies, he tries to solve it himself. He doesn't get it, so he searches for a guide. So he meets a guide. Now, there's two major characteristics that the hero wants from the guide, and that is a deep understanding of the hero's current situation and authority, meaning competence plus social proof. So let's handle the first one. Deep understanding of his current situation. If you're going to someone with a problem and he doesn't understand the problem, he doesn't understand what you are going through, you're not going to take advice from that person. You're not going to listen to that person. You won't care what that person has to say, because if he doesn't first understand the problem, how can his solution be of any value to you? That is so fundamental about marketing, is you need to understand your customer. You need to understand this problems, pains and challenges that is going through right now. You need to really have that nailed down, that if you speak to them, they immediately click off, yes, this person truly understands me. Oh, I want to work with this person. They would want to work with you even though you don't have a solution. If you have no solution but you understand the current situation, they will even put trust in you to put heads together and come up with a solution. That's how powerful the current situation is, because there's so few people that truly feel understood, and that's so important. So that's the first thing. The other one is authority. So competence and social proof. Have you solved this problem before? Have you delivered results for someone else before? Have you taken a hero on this journey before, and has it resulted in a success? This is social proof. It's about, can you do the job? Can you deliver a solution? And this is extremely important once the person understands, because there might be more than one person that understands what they're going through. So who are they going to choose? They're going to choose the person that has that social proof and that results about taking the hero on that journey already. So that's very, very important. Deep understanding and authority. So who gives them a plan? So this is the guide that gives the hero a plan. And it's two different things. It's the process plan and the agreement plan. Well, the first thing is, well, they want to have some sort of guide or some sort of map on or trajectory of their business or their journey of, okay, you're going to do this, then this, then this, and it's going to result in some results. So that's very, very easy to understand once you've done this before and you gave someone a plan. You're saying, okay, this is the process that we're going to go through with your business. And after that, you're going to have some success, or on the journey, you're going to start having some success. Now, the process plan is exactly the plan of how they can work with you. So giving them small incremental steps of how they can work with you. Meaning, okay, so the first one is we're going to have a chat. Then we're going to say, okay, go through this material. We're going to create this plan. You're going to implement this. And after you've implemented this, or you can go one step further. Give them the plan, say, well, I can even hold your hand going through this plan, executing this plan. This is the process that you want to take them through of working with you. What is that process? The agreement plan is just simply the contract, the thing that outlines 3 to 5 things that you're definitely going to deliver to them. But that is the agreement. It comes in the contract. It's not really in the marketing. It's more about the process that you have to really give the results. That's more that you want to be focusing on the plan. Next thing is you need to call them to action. So if you look at most businesses, you're going to see, okay, they're not doing anything. And if you give someone advice, they're not just going to implement it. Or if you're going to someone visit your website, they're not just going to contact you. You need to really directly call them out to action. They need to do something. You need to tell them, buy now, schedule a call with us now, schedule a strategy session now. You need to call them to action, because people really respond well to people telling them what to do. Because if they're already convinced, they already have gone through this, okay, yes, I want to work with this person, but as soon as they have that thought, they don't really know how to work with you. And that's where you basically tell them, well, this is how you work with me. This is what you're going to do now. You're going to schedule a call right now. We're going to climb on the phone. We're going to go through all of this. You need to call them to action. So it's direct calls to action and transitional calls to action. So what I've been talking about here is direct calls to action. Buy now, schedule call now, not vague terms of learn more or you could get some more information here. It's not definitive enough. You want someone to do something right now. So you want to drive action. Now, if that person is not ready to take that action, it comes to transitional calls to action, meaning, okay, I can give you a PDF or I can give you 4 underutilized resources, or here's the 10 steps of saving taxes in a small business. Here's the 5 things that most small businesses do incorrectly. Some sort of value, and it's usually in turn for some lead magnet or getting some leads, getting some contact information like an email and so forth. It's very great for if that person's not ready to schedule the call right now, give them some value in turn for contact information. That you consistently give them value over a few emails after that, you're going to start to convince them to take the direct call to action. So the transitional call to action is just to give them a little bit more value to convince them to climb on that call with you, to really come to your business and want to work with you. Because not everybody is ready to buy now. Not everybody is ready to climb on the phone now. They need a little bit of a push. They need a little bit of convincing. And the easiest way to do this is with value, giving them some value. Then helps them to avoid failure, helps them to reach success. So once you've done the message about, okay, you need to take action, you need to do all of these things, then you need to paint a picture and you need to give some motivation of why exactly they need to take action, because they are in a current situation that's pretty bad. But if they don't buy your services, it could be worse, because it's not necessarily that they're going to stay constant. They could even spiral downwards. So if you're going to paint a picture that they need to avoid failure, meaning if there's no stakes in a story, meaning there's not some threat that's going to happen if you don't take action, there's not going to be any action taken because there's no stakes. There needs to be some sort of stake in not taking action. So this is very, very important that you give them a vision of failure, but not as vivid to scare them or to fearmonger, just a little taste of that. Then give them the vision of success. Motivate them to reach that goal, meaning what's it going to look like to reach that specific goal. Now, it's usually about power of position in the community, in his competence hierarchy, all of that. The power of position makes the hero whole, meaning the community comes together, his family gets together, he gets the girl, makes him whole, and it's the whole family thing. Then self-realization, it's about the hero understands that he has been in a position to overcome these challenges all along. It means he really understands that he has been having everything in himself for so long, he should have just went on the journey. So this is all 3 of the most common success stories. Well, it's a little bit difficult, but it's just paint a picture, let them imagine how it's going to look if they achieve the goals that they really want to. So that is the story structure. Now this is the art of storytelling. You go through this entire process. Now it sounds long and drawn out and there's so many details within this, but all it comes down to is this system. Taking the person from the current situation to the desired situation with you as the bridge. So let us move on to how to craft your message. So usually how we've done it for the last couple of years is we didn't really put it into this nice story structure. We went very logical about, okay, this is where you are now, this is where you want to go. No, we are the way to get there. So meaning we used the I help statement. Now this is a very, very simple statement. And if you watched any of my videos before, you'll probably hear me saying it in the beginning because this just clearly outlines, I help my niche to get the results by my solution. Now mine is usually I help overworked accountants that's struggling with marketing and sales get more of a constant stream of their ideal clients. That is so simple. Like you just need to put everything into one sentence, meaning I help my niche. Now this needs to be specific. Tell them about their problems and pains. Describe this current situation here. describe their problems, pains, and challenges, that they understand that you understand them. This is about that deep understanding, the deep understanding of what the guide needs to do. Then to reach what, okay? What's the thing that they truly want? So for me, it's the marketing and sales. That's the main problem. It's overworked accountants. Great. What's the result? Ideal clients. Constantly getting in more ideal clients. Not just any clients, ideal clients. So that is the whole idea about getting to the results. Mine don't have my solution in because we just say we help accountants, meaning we are consultants. So it's implied. You don't necessarily put in here by doing accounting services. It's not necessary. If you can make it sound like a new solution, something brand new that you're putting out there, and it doesn't sound like just some normal thing, then you can put that in as well. You combine everything together. So this is just the I help statement. It's very, very simple, very logical, but it doesn't draw you in like a story, like that first example that I gave you with the story I'm going to tell to someone if they ask me at a cocktail party, what do I do? Now this process here is how to deconstruct and how to construct that story, that you can tell someone by bringing him into the story, let them really understand what exactly they're doing. So this is basically a 2-sentence story and it has 3 steps. So the first thing is you need to do is identify the niche plus describe the current situation. According to this thing, this is where you are. You should have this already. If you watch the first video, you'll see how exactly we get all of those. Then be specific. Don't be just I help people, I help small businesses, or you know our small businesses. It's too broad. And it's also, if you're going to say I help them with improving their business, like that's not a challenge or a problem that people are going to relate to. That's something too broad. You need to be very specific on that problem and your niche. You need to really say, I work with this group of people that has this specific problem. It's not about telling, I work with businesses and I help them solve problems. It's too vague. So then it should be a painful problem and it should be repeatable and memorable. So being a painful problem, meaning if they have a problem and it's not something that they want to solve now because it's not painful enough for them, your marketing message is going to fall on deaf ears. It's just not going to work. It's going to fall on deaf ears because at the end of the day, if they don't really have a desire to solve that problem, it's not going to work. It needs to be painful. It needs to be something that you have this problem. Yes, I do. You want to solve it right now? Yes, yeah, take my money. That's how painful the problem should be. So focus at the most painful problems. You might find with your research that you're going through problems and pains and challenges, and you have this wide 20 list, and like, oh, I can't put all of this in my story. Yes, you cannot. So be specific, make it the most painful problem that they have. So repeatable and memorable. So the whole idea here is that it should be something that they could easily repeat, or like mine is with the struggle with marketing and sales. That is such a broad thing, but it's so specific to accountants. Like mine is it rolls off the tongue. It's the whole idea. So the whole idea here is repeatable and memorable, that you can repeat it to everybody that you're saying, that you're telling them. It should be, your staff should be able to just repeat that sentence. It should be natural to come off. It should come off as a story, very easy to just tell to someone else. Next thing, position yourself as the bridge. So this is you as the bridge. Should feel like a new idea and make it short, simple and clear. So this is how you put yourself as a solution, but you should not here explain all the minute details of your services. Nobody cares. Everybody just cares that you have a solution or you have a proven process that can deliver the results. If you have some sort of specific thing to your practice that you want to put in here, that's really nice to say, okay, this is the thing that really sets us apart from the competition. Yes. This is where you put it in, because your solution or your proven process is going to be the thing that they want. They want to go and get a hold of that proven process that you are going to deliver it for them. So short, simple, clear. Don't make it long drawn out and all of these things. Very, very short. And if you're thinking about, okay, I'm going through all of this and it's not really making sense to me, I'm going to go through a lot of examples Just wait until the end. I'm also going to do that in a PDF in the end to give you all the examples, exactly how we did everything. So just wait until the end for that PDF, and I'm going to go through some specific examples how to construct these for yourself. So just stay tuned. Now, number 3 is describe the desired situation. So now you see how exactly we went through this entire diagram. Current to desired, you as the bridge. So it should be your main goal and keep it short and focused. So it should be one vision of where they want to be going. It should not be, okay, you could either get freedom, or you could do spend more time with your family, or you could make more profit, or you could do this, that, and that, and that, and that. It's too many visions. It should be one specific vision, the one that they really, truly want. Like if the one main goal of this person is to spend more time with his family, that's the only thing you tell them. This is going to help you get or spend more time with your family. Is that his main desire? Then tell it to him. But don't make it a bunch of different things, and it should be the main goal of that person. So keep it short and focused. Then finally, okay, how to make your message effective. So after this, we're going to quickly go through some examples of how exactly we can do everything. But just if you have constructed this entire thing, now, if you have constructed your message, it should be repeated over and over and over again. You should teach that to your staff. If anybody ever asks them, what does your business do? What do you do for a living? Then they need to repeat this message, because it's going to be a story. It's going to be very inviting to start that conversation with. It's not going to be just a marketing message of what do we do their services. It should be a lacquered story to get that person into the conversation. So memorize it and repeat it constantly. Teach it to your entire team that they can do that as well. And then start all presentations with it. So if it's going to be some sort of presentation that you need to give, tell them what you are about first. Tell them, paint this picture first, that the people are drawn into the story before they get bored with your presentation about, okay, these numbers here, those numbers there. You should first draw them into the story. Then use it in as much marketing as possible, meaning every single marketing where it's applicable, put it in there. Because if you're going to do all of that trouble and go through all of that trouble to really structure this message correctly, you want to use it as much as possible to get as much as possible results. So now I'm going to go through a bunch of examples just to basically show you a little bit more about, okay, so we have these 3 steps, and how exactly do we really translate that into something that you can tell to someone else. I know accountants struggle with marketing, and they struggle to really construct this message. So I want to give as much examples as possible. We're going to give some more examples in the PDF afterwards as well. So let's take a few quick examples where I really go and just tell you exactly let's say the business entity, how they constructed the message, how they went from problem, bridge, to desired situation. So first one, let's say for example, it's a pet store, okay? So the pet store is going to be, okay, what's the problem? So pet owners are concerned about what their pets are really eating. Okay, so I wasn't really concerned until I heard that, but now I am, because what are they really eating? Then what's the plan? So we source our food from trusted local vendors. Okay. So now that's the solution. That's the thing about, okay, well, this gives me some confidence about, okay, what's the solution to this problem of not really getting to that. So now the ending is, which ensures your pet stays happy and healthy. Now all of those together is, pet owners are concerned about what their pets are really eating. So we source our food from trusted local vendors, which ensures your pet stays happy and healthy. Now, if you're going to tell that to someone, it's going to think, like, yes, I want my pet to be happy and healthy. And, oh man, I was really concerned about what they truly are eating. Or now I'm concerned about it because you told me. But all of that, it starts a conversation. It really brings you in. Then next one is a financial advisor. So the problem, most people can't get their heads around their financial future. Now, this is very true. This is a lot of people are struggling with this. They don't really get their heads around this. So what's the plan? So we create a financial map that puts all your info on a weekly dashboard. So this sounds kind of new, but it's a little bit drawn out, but it's a solution. Then the ending is, give you peace of mind about your finances. Well, if you can't get your head around your finances, you are having troubled nights. You can't sleep. This is keeping you awake at night. You don't know what your future is, so you want that peace of mind with your finances. If you put all of that together, it's going to be, most people get their heads around. Most people can't get their heads around the financial future. So we created a financial map that puts all your info on a weekly dashboard, giving you peace of mind about your finances. Okay, next one is a used car salesman, or used car sales store. So what's the problem? Nobody likes to haggle with a car salesman. So if you've ever been to a used car salesman, you know it's always going to be a debate, it's always going to be a haggle about the price, about everything. So that's the problem. Nobody wants to haggle with a car salesman. So what's the plan? So we remove the salesman entirely. You can choose and test drive a car hassle-free. What's the ending? So you have a peaceful experience getting the car you want. Now this is very, very nice because it really goes about the problem. The problem is that person you need to haggle with every single time. You don't want to go through that every single time you go there. So if you put all of that together, nobody likes to haggle with a car salesman. So we remove the salesman entirely. You can choose and test drive a car hassle-free, so you have a peaceful experience getting the car you want. See how easy this is. It's just about a specific problem that you're solving. How are you solving that specific problem? And what's the desired situation that they want to get at? So if we go through, this is the storyboard example. This is about Donald Miller, his business specifically. Now I wanted to put this in here because most of this is coming from him and his strategy in his book. So I really wanted to put in his example and give you some flaws on that as well and give you why exactly it works for him so well. So this is the storyboard example is most businesses struggle to talk about what they offer. We have a process that helps them clarify the message so their companies start growing again. Now this sounds so very nice, but my problem with this is it's not specific enough. Okay, so most businesses, now it sounds just like everybody. So it doesn't really narrow down that specific niche. Then, okay, well, we have a process that clarifies the message. So that is extremely powerful. Most people don't know how to craft the message, really go through all of this, and they really don't know this. So they want to clarify that message that people understand and to make them start growing again, meaning they were in a bad place where they were not growing at that very moment. So I love the problem and the future about growing again. It's a little bit broad. I don't really like it. Should be a little bit more niche down. So let's, for example, say we turn that storyboard example in like most accountants struggle, or most overworked accountants or most accounting practices struggle to talk about what they offer. Now, immediately you're thinking about, oh, that sounds so much better because it's aimed at you. It's aimed at you. It's not most businesses, it's accountants. It's specifically aimed at you. No, we have a process that helps them clarify their message so their companies start growing again. And now I can just, instead of just start growing again, I can say, certain things that you really want to get their ideal clients that they truly want, or something along those lines. It's a little bit more personalized to you specifically, so it's most probably going to hit a little bit more home. Then, okay, I already went through my example, but I'll give you that one more time now that you see how exactly this was created, so that you just see how exactly I created this. So, how most accountants struggle with marketing and sales, and they end up overworked, having to take on bad clients that make their life miserable. Well, we specialize in helping accountants to get a consistent stream of their ideal clients while reducing their workload and increasing their profits. So now you can immediately see how I constructed this. You see, I identified the niche. The accountants that struggle with marketing and sales. The current situation is they're struggling with marketing and sales. And all of that is very specialized to specifically accountants. Then me as the bridge, I just say I specialize in accountants because I'm a consultant. This is exactly what I do. So I take you from the one position to the other. Then the desired situation is reducing workload, increasing profits, and having ideal clients. You see exactly how I constructed this. So this should really be giving you that possibility to create this for yourself, as long as you understand the foundations of marketing. So here's a few extra examples, and after this we're going to end off, and I'm going to give this all in a PDF if you don't want to go through this one by one. Next one is a speech therapist, okay? Many parents are concerned about their child's ability to communicate. We provide individualized speech therapy approach so that they can communicate clearly and move ahead in life with ease. Seeing how that's a little bit more of a story and it really addresses the concerns about the parents, because that is something parents are concerned about. And if the child is not really speaking correctly, you're really thinking, well, oh man, he's going to get ostracized by society, he won't fit in, he's going to get bullied at school, all of those certain things is going to be problems that they're concerned about. Then the next one, Amazon Marketplace Consultant. So this is going to be, many people are frustrated with selling their products on Amazon. We show them how to tame the Amazon Marketplace so that they can be more profitable and grow faster. This is specifically about digital entrepreneurs really wanting to sell their products on Amazon, meaning this is what they specialize in. So they're struggling with that marketplace because it's so complex. They actually have an entire course on how to do this. So that means that this is a very, very painful problem for those people struggling to really sell their products on Amazon because it's such a huge marketplace. Then this is an accountant, or it could be a business consultant. Many doctors fear going into private practice because they don't know enough about business. We guide doctors through the process of setting up a successful medical practice so they can be successful of doctors and business people. Meaning they can be successful business people and doctors, or it could be the other way around. But you see how this is, okay, so what's a doctor very good at? He's good at his job, he's good at medicine, and he really likes doing all of those things. But if you look closely on this, you see exactly the problem that they're talking about. The problem is they don't really know a lot about business. So if they don't know a lot about business, how are they going to start a business and be, a sole proprietor going through all of that? So they really need some guidance on this. And this is what a lot of doctors wanting to start their own practice is. Either they don't want to do it because they're scared, or they do it and they end up struggling for the first few years, finding out how exactly business works. So very painful problem. Then financial advisor. So most families are tired of paying investment fees whether they make money or not. Our firm only gets paid when you make a profit. So our investors know we want you to get the highest returns possible. Now, this immediately speaks to that problem of paying all of those fees and you don't even make a profit, or the stock market takes a dive and you still need to pay your financial advisors. Nobody likes to do that because you're feeling like this person should be making me money, not just taking all of my money. So that's immediately just hits to those people that's so frustrated with paying all of those fees. Then accountant or a debt collector. Most businesses struggle with accounts receivable issues. We help clients convert accounts receivable into cash flow so they can grow their business. So a little bit vague at the end, but it's still about, okay, they're struggling with this one specific thing. So accounts receivable usually ends up in the problem of cash flow. So you don't get cash in. So they immediately take the problem about not getting the cash in from their creditors or their debtors, the accounts receivable, meaning they are going to do that for you. They're going to turn that into cash flow. So that means, great. That's exactly what you want. You want a healthy cash flow, or you want the business to grow. So in the end, you can just basically give it a little bit more oomph. But this is just some of the examples that I wanted to go through, you guys, because for me, when I'm doing marketing and I'm really going through all of this, doing the research about these things, it's so difficult to translate that into real world examples. That's why it took so much time going through the examples, that you can see how they are constructed. If you don't see how they are constructed according to this, I'm going to tell you all of these things very nice and clear, and you're not going to be able to write your own paragraph. So what I want to encourage you now is go ahead, write your own 2-sentence story. Write your own 2-sentence story, write your own I help statement. So the I help statement is very, very easy to do. I don't need to give you some examples on that because you can find that everywhere. It's very common practice. If you just search, this is not common. The story approach is not common at all. If you're going to tell that story to someone, they're going to think you made that up on the spot because it sounds like a story you're telling to them. it's not going to sound like marketing. It's going to tie them into that story and really want to know more about your business, wanting to work with you. So the whole idea here is to craft that 2-sentence story for yourself. If you want me to critique it, give it in the comments or send me a direct message. Say, I went through your video. This is what I came up with my business. And then you need to give me that 2-sentence story, and I'm going to critique and say, okay, did you address the main painful problem? Did you address the main desire, the main goal of that person? And did you situate yourself nice as the bridge between those? That's the whole thing. So I would happily do a few one of those for free. Let's say the first 5 people that send me those messages, I will critique them for free and give my edits from a marketing standpoint. But this is what it's all about, is delivering this message. Because on every single platform, there's a way to do this, meaning you can put it either in your Facebook bio, you could put it as your tagline on LinkedIn, you could put it in your about section or your summary on LinkedIn, and you can put it in some marketing collateral, meaning you can put it on your Facebook wall or your Facebook, let's say, background or your LinkedIn background, and you can give this little 2-sentence. If it's not too long, you can fit it in there, and people are immediately going to think, yes, I want to work with this person. Oh, I want to know more about this person. The whole idea here is that the places where it's just too long to put in the 2-sentence story, you put the I help statement, because it's the only substitute. It's just shorter. The I help statement is just shorter, so it fits more nicely into a LinkedIn profile tag or LinkedIn headline along those lines. But like in a Facebook bio, you can really put in the 2-sentence story. Now, this is not only just for digital marketing. Like the example in the beginning, if you are at a party, at a braai or networking event or a cocktail event, if someone asks you what you do, don't just say I'm an accountant or I run ABC accounting. No, it's not about that. It's about really tying them into the story from the very first. Because that person is going to be so engaged with you, you're going to probably exchange numbers, probably going to set up a strategy session in that week, in that coming week, just because you opened with this. Just because you opened with this. It's going to be so much more powerful when talking to someone. Now, if you're thinking about your website and stuff like that, this also applies. It really applies. Start with this. Make the whole focus this. This entire diagram from taking them to current desired situation, if that's the first thing they see on your website, they're actually going to go through it. They're actually going to want to work with you. That's the whole point around this. Then you should be having a plan in place. Then you should be calling them to action on your website. Buy now, schedule a call now. Because if you gave this story and they saw this, great, you have a deep understanding. Yes, you have authority because you put some social proof on your website as well. Great. Now they want to plan how to work with you and they want to be called into action. That should be the structure of a website. Taking them exactly through the story. Because in the end, they're going to say, yes, I want to take action and call this person right now. I want to do business with you. That's what you want. That's the whole idea about this. So I really hope this created a lot of value for you guys. Please give us a like, share, or a comment if this created value, or you have some questions about this. You really want to know more about this, helping you critique your marketing message along those lines. But other than that, I really hope you got some value from this. Next week, we're probably going to do this long form videos every 2 weeks from now. And I saw it took a lot of research to put everything of this together. So I'll be announcing that in the coming week when our next long form video is going to be. But for now, thank you everybody and enjoy the rest of your week.